Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome once again back to my board. As you can see, we are going over a Shibano Toramaru game versus Ichiriki Ryo. Two Japanese players, I will have you know. Two Japanese players of the highest caliber. Now, this game was played, quite a bit in the past. All the way back in good old, I want to say August. So you might be wondering, why are we going over it now in 2022? Or frack, 2021. Shut up. I know what year it is. But the reason for that is quite simple. This is the runner-up to the Bloodiest game in 2020. This is the runner-up, and it has a little bit of a story because there are like 3 or 4 people, I want to say, that have already seen this game because I went over it in study group. However, I forgot to upload it to Patreon. So this is a game that never actually made it onto Patreon. So I get to use it again. Poggers. But yes, my runner-up. My runner-up is good. My runner-up is good. And you might, looking at this, say, how does what is going to happen on this board not make it into the bloodiest game of 2020? And for that, it's actually pretty simple. This game, unfortunately, just doesn't have enough fighting, and there are not enough stones dying. So, what can I tell you? It just didn't qualify. What I do know to tell you, though, is game begins off in the upper right corner of the board, as you would imagine, with a handy-dandy happy little 4/4 stone. And it continues into a 4/4 in the lower left. So right away, you might be thinking to yourself, oh, wonderful. I know what kind of game this is gonna be, right? This is gonna be a game of 4/4 into 3/3 invasions. And you could be forgiven for thinking that. It has been that kind of year, hasn't it? It has, in fact, been that kind of year. Instead, good old Chibi Cakes plays the Enclosure. Alright, nothing wrong there, nothing wrong there. Nope, not the Chinese. He goes for ye old Enclosure. Now, admittedly, Black did not immediately 3/3. But you know what White's gonna do, right? I mean, 2020, you know what's gonna happen. Bang, 3/3. Now, I'm actually okay with this 3/3. I'm actually okay with this 3/3. Because it does something very interesting. Does something very interesting indeed. What it does is it gives Shibano influence. Giving Shibano influence. What an interesting idea. Don't you know it? But I seem to remember Shibano first came to our attention because of his use of influence. So this could be interesting indeed. This could be interesting indeed. So, pretty straightforward. 3/3 extend. And then White and Black is like, I'm going to fight for Sente. Rather than play, the variations that I'm still comfortable with. Such as playing the Hane and then doing the extension out. Good old Shibi wants Sente. And then White, as we've been seeing, does a 1-point jump. Now you might be saying, 1-point jump? 1-point jump? Why would you do the 1-point jump? Don't you know, sir? If you didn't know, I'll tell you right now. If you do the 1-point jump, you're allowing yourself to be push and cut. Why would you do such a thing? If you do that, you're just giving up your stones. What an odd thing to do. Well, true, you can do this, but White just got Sente out of the deal. So he could play, essentially, like, wherever he wants to play right now. And that'd be a fine move. And then for, like, later on, he could threaten to revive the stone by coming down and connecting, so there's a lot of Aji there, making this Sente to make sure it doesn't, like, ever happen, you know? So, a lot of things you could do here. So we don't really take this. It loses us Sente. We take the 2 stones, but then the outside is going to screw us again and, like, kind of lock us in there. It's not that good. Not that good. So, rather than that, what we see instead, after the block, into the extend, and the 1 point jump is not falling for that trick. Because, I mean, I know some people will take issue with me calling it a trick, but if you fall for the pushing through and cutting thing, it really does feel like you've been tricked. Like, you saw something flashy with this one move, right? You went after it as fast as your little fingers could take you there, and then you're going to be very sad. It's like you saw something, but it was a scam. You don't want to do it. So instead, Black's like, I will take more for myself, thank you very much. No, double Hane you can extend. Double Hane, you don't have to. Oh no, yeah, double Hane. Yeah, no, yeah. That's always why you wouldn't double Hane. It's trying to force that. Yeah. True. It's alright. Got the push. Into the push, like so. Into, hey, I'm going to create cutting points. And White is like, I will not let you do that, you fuel. Asks the question now, which way are we going to do this? There are a lot of things we can do here. We're looking for the Aji. Are you going to take the stone? Are you going to connect? Big questions being made here. White's like, it is no longer time to give up those. Could you explain why Black's push on the 4th line changed situation enough to be in Sente? If this isn't responded to, then we're going to push an Atari and then take, right? So this is Sente, otherwise the push kills. So we had to extend. Now we're cutting and asking, what are you going to do here? Either you're going to play this one, in which case we can take the stones back with a little bit of a larger wall. Or you're going to connect, which we see here. We don't get the corner back, but what we do get is more influence. We get more influence here, because we're not going to turn here and let the connection underneath happen. So we're going to play Zit, followed by larger wall. Now here's a question for you. I think the Dons will instinctively know this answer. So Q's, help me out here, Q's. Why is White not going to play this move? Why is White not going to play here? And why would we point and laugh at White if he was to play here? Who can tell me? I would be like, ha 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 ha. White stone weak, Atari wall. How would you play? Would you Atari it? Really? How would you play? How would you play for black? M2. Ah, the Atari. You could do that. There are two ways of handling this. One is playing here, take, and then not Atari, but just do a jump. Oh, the other Atari? Wait, sorry. I'm confused. Oh, you want to Atari this? That you will not do, I do not think. No, that you will not do. We're not sacrificing our stone. What we might do is the Atari into a jump, or even easier and more likely, 1-point jump directly. Reason why we can do the 1-point jump directly is because the Atari doesn't do anything. It's a similar variation to the Atari into take into jumping, only for some reason white haned after you did that, which is very garish and stupid. Like, that doesn't make any sense, right? So it turns that into a horrifically bad move. So we're not going to do that. Instead, the only thing white can do is play here, or I guess play here. But it's awkward either way, because no matter how you look at it, that Atari is still there. You can never Atari down. So it's almost like you always have this move on the board without playing it. So you could do other things. And that's the reason why we're not going to cut. The cut is a trap for the fuels. So instead, we see the crawl here. And it might be a little uncertain why we're crawling on second line here until you read out that this is not a very good move. And therefore, we are not going to play it. Now, I know a lot of you are gonna cringe at this one. But black has a move now. I know. Wall. Influence. Look, you just deal with it, alright? Of course, Keck W. Yes. Get rid of those Keck W's. Even when you're going against influence, when you have this influence, there's a fundamental problem. There is a fundamental problem at the end of the day. If you just try to build, it's 3 corners versus 1, and that one can still be invaded. So, it's awkward. It's awkward. It's also another good reason why this game is not our bloodiest game of the year, is because of moves like this. Don't worry. Number 1 will be better. But still, this one does get its honorable mention for what happens in this game. So white is blocking this way because of the influence. If we block this way just to build here, there are a lot of sequences you don't want to see. For example, let's say, even something as simple as repeating the top could be pretty okay for black because you have to keep playing here. Otherwise, this turns huge because you've got like multiple ways that black is profiting. That could turn pretty bigly. And then you've also got variations like this, which wind up getting really complicated with the cuts. Like, there's way too many variations here to list. Suffice it to say, it has impacts on that direction as well. So, easy way to understand it. We got the influence here. We're blocking because we're probably going to get Sente here. And thus, we anticipate being able to block the influence while expanding in the area that black wants to expand from. A lot easier to understand that way. A lot easier to understand that way. Playing for Sente again. Same as the upper right. Now, we could play here, but you've got to be careful because this is still ready to be built upon, right? Black can still build this way. That's a little bit more important than this way right now. So white comes in. And as we expect, black pincers, because if your first response is to play here and give your opponent a 2-space extension, ooh, that's really weak. Like, what is this wall doing? What is the wall doing? I'm still amazed that blocking the other way was easy to understand before AI. Blocking the other way is fine too. It's very, it's a very small difference which way you're choosing to block. He's just blocking this way specifically because he wants Sente to do something else. If you don't care about Sente, it's perfectly fine. Like, I would still play the other way. In a basics game, 100%. Every time, I'll block the other way. Every single time I'll block this way. I don't care. And I'll take this result any day of the week against any amateur player in the world. I don't care. Like, I'll be fine with this result as white. Screw it. I'll be fine with it. Don't care. So yeah, played here, block that way, boom, and then yoink. Then, of course, we're going to get pincered because just trying to keep the corners too small. White's going to be like, what are you doing? And black's going to be like, oh, just building off my wall. This is a tough one here. Black decides he's going to attack and try and defend his territory. This isn't a bad thing. Just be aware that there are still cutting points here. And if you try and defend him this way, there's still ways to kind of lean on that. A lot of times, this has a tendency to get over-concentrated, which is probably one of the reasons why after here, black just goes for yield points instead. Just like so. Now, it does mean white gets to cut. That's unfortunate. Which in turn means black loses a stone. Also unfortunate. And so far you're probably thinking to yourself, this game doesn't look very bloody, does it? How is this one of the considerations for the bloodiest game of the year? Am I lying to you? Do I have the wrong game? They've played each other multiple times this year. Did I load up the wrong one? These are all very, very valid questions to ask yourself. I can understand completely how you might be getting a little concerned. But don't worry, our story gets better. It starts here, in fact. What you might be noticing about this group is that it doesn't quite have two eyes now, does it? Interesting. Interesting. It's got the one, but we can see that that's obviously not quite two eyes, is it? We can't get another eye over there if we'd do like the double push or the double hane. But he's out right now, so we wouldn't try to do anything like this because he'll just laugh at us and leave. So hold, hold, hold. We're not going to do anything like that right now. But we are going to take note that this little guy isn't 100% alive yet. Interesting. Yeffington, thanks for this 40-month resub. So for now, we go about our way. We mind our own business, take the next large point, which is preventing this kind of thing happening over here. Hane. We're on the 4th line now. Ooh, that's big. We're leaving white no choice but to extend. Because if we're on the 4th line over here, having stolen the corner, that's crazy big! Is S11 meant to be on the board? What's S11? Yes. This? Absolutely. If that move hadn't been played, imagine that as a Blackstone right now, and suddenly that's a false eye. Now we're really screwed because we have like 0.5 eye on the side and that's it. But yeah, white played here, giving Sente for black to go back over here. Extends. Have to extend at this point because again, black's on the 4th line now. If he gets to extend over there, he has an enclosure, he grabbed his extension, he stole your corner, and he blocked yours. Like, this is catastrophically bad. Because we don't know what the wall is doing. And we're just getting points everywhere. So, super, super important move. And we can't go too far with it. Because we can do things like that, like pincering it.
Thanks for the 2020 wish at Sweetie Revenge.
Thanks for the resub. So, alright, we got yield extension. Like so. And now, what's black's next move? I don't even want to hint at what it could be. Black gets E2, E12 now? What's E12? Oh, the turn. Turn's pretty big. Turn's pretty big. Turn's pretty big. Oh, 3-3 him. There's a 3-3 open, that's true. That's true, there's a 3-3 open. I will say congratulations to Drac, who said wait, where are we approaching him? Where are we approaching him? Sorry, Mr. Drac? C5. Okay, never mind. I will not congratulate Drac. Did no one get it right? I don't see a single L in my chat. We can pick up the extension and threaten to further reduce the crap out of this. If all our opponent has is 2nd line territory up here, and like, I don't know, maybe an enclosure later, and there's like nothing here, while black's picking up this, and this, I mean, he's just gonna win. Oh, I'll tell you what's called? Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. So, alright. Excellent. And now this alone is too big. White cannot let black get this area. Like, how large is this area? Let's say conservatively to like something like this, right? So it'd be 1, 2, 3 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Maybe 33, 34 points or so. That's huge! That is huge, dude. We take that all the time. To go with like the 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18 points, almost 20. So between this and this, we're over like at 50 points at this point. And we can still pop in some of this. Are we even close to 40 as white? If this is garbage, and this is garbage, and this isn't anything? So if white has to try to separate these two, why can't black just play one of the two stones closer and make it that harder? Because they always go to try to squeeze out every bit of what they can from position. Pros will always play the severe move over the safe move. This is more severe. It's like, come in, reduce me, but that crap's come at a premium. You know? Pros, okay, not all pros, but all the good pros will always play the severe move over the safe move. If we play a move like this, that's pretty frickin' safe. And it's really hard for white to do anything in here. I almost want to declare this completely black's territory. Because stuff like this is probably not going to live. It's just too concentrated, you know? But it also leaves things like this behind, where, like, okay, maybe we play this way. And then maybe play down, I guess. And then maybe we turn. And then maybe we extend up. You see where this is headed, right? And then suddenly, because we played the super safe move, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're at 7, or what, 10, 9, 8, yeah, 7 by 6. Ooh, that's bad. 4, 5, 6, literally one line more here than we gained over here. That's an ooch. So you gotta be careful. Gotta be careful about that. So instead we play here. It's like, you want to come in? Fine. But I will take something off of you for that. It's okay. And white, true to form, comes in. And I kind of like this move. Black's like, you're outnumbered. Like 4 to 1. 1, 2, 3, 4 to 1. I don't think I'm in trouble here. I think you're in trouble here. So what are you going to do next? Next move is obvious. Everyone gets it. Everyone gets it. What's next move? Only one possible. Where's it going to be for white? Monkey jump? Ew. I don't even know where you'd monkey jump. You want to where would you get a monkey jump? I actually don't see a single monkey jump on this board. No, wait, I do. Okay. Monkey jump. There. You want to play that? There. Monkey jump. We are not playing that, just so we're clear. We're not playing that move. No monkey jump today. Sorry. Alright. Everybody who said M16, congratulations. Those of you who want to do a 1-point jump, you are allowing your opponent to attack you while you're just trying to run away. You could try to cap, but it's the same thing. Then we're going to probably shoulder hit here and try to kill. So yes, we are going to play this one. It is the most severe move in our arsenal right now. But we have a simple push. Because our opponent is against a very, very solid position here. So, when they create the cutting point, because they're not going to just play this way. They're not going to just play this way and run this way. Like, that's really, really passive and terrible. Because there's no pressure being applied to this group anymore. This group is just trying to run away and not die. You might be asking yourself, well, how do we know that there's no pressure being applied to this group anymore? A couple of reasons, actually. One is obvious, that we've got, like, cross cuts here, where one of these two stones is dead. We also have potential connections and cuts here. So we're never doing that. Ever. Ever, 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 ever. It's too passive. It's not good. If this kind of thing is your first instinct for white, you need to take a ruler and smash your knuckles to remember that that's not a good thing. So we're going to Hane, because we have to. Black's going to cut because he's strong here. Now we're getting into some kung fu fighting. And I want to just hypothetically, this might come up on the test. I want to point out there's a fight breaking out here. When we said this group might not be completely alive, just hypothetically. Just saying. Just saying. Let's not keep in mind, let's not forget everything that's involved in this fight. It's not just a, ooh, can this live, or how does it? No, this thing is involved even if it doesn't know it. Wrong stone. Yeah, white drop down, black's turn. So Atari. Extend up. Severely damaging the stone, dropping it to 2 liberties. We can go there, we can go here. This thing is really weak unless it responds, but if it responds, then we're going to go here. White is like, I am in deep trouble here. I'm going to ladder. And I like white's first response. Me, I would be salivating to get some kind of ladder breaker right now to go for the other one. I would be all over jumping all over that. Oh yeah. But Shibi is pro 9-dan. He will save himself first. He is going to save himself. It's like, okay, make sure we're nice and safe. Then we can do something else. Because what is the fear here? If we play this now, what are we afraid of? That white's going to play another move here? And then we'll keep attacking the crap out of this thing. Like, we can be flexible here, right? So no need to worry. White's responding because this wall is not the greatest thing in the history of ever right now. Atari. Getting a little bit of a fight here. Little bit of a fight here. Now this is delightfully complicated. It's just delightful. Now, Q's, I'm sorry, this is where you have to go home. Don's, where's my next move for black? I don't think Q's can keep up here. Don's, maybe. Where are the D's in chat? Q says J18. Ooh, sorry, Q. Go home. You're drunk. I want to play F15. Drak, congratulations. Defends and threatens to kill. So this defense is doing 2 things at once. We're not going to solidly connect. You're a Q. Are you really, though? Perhaps you are not. Perhaps you are a Don and you did not even know it. Saves. Comes out. You're 7Q. Or are you 7 Don and you don't even know it? I think there's a Don inside you. I skipped a turn, didn't I? Yes, white's turn. Saving to try to kill a 3. But that means someone gets come back to life. And this fighting is out of control at this point. There is way too many things going on this board. Like, this is a battle that's hard to keep up with. Think about how many freaking groups are involved in this fight. This is a group now. It's involved in this fight. Group, involved, group, involved, group, 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 group. Ah, oh my God. Could this be any more complicated of a battle? Could this be any more complicated? It can be, because remember, they always try to go more aggressive. So here we go. Now, I will commend white for just living and not continuing the push war. It puts pressure on black to come out. The push here is huge. So it's simplifying. Okay, it's simplifying. White goes to try and win the battle. That move right there. Ooh. That move right there. It almost feels like a trick. There are so many ways to get tricked here. So many ways to get tricked here. Do you see all the tricks? You see all the tricks? I'll give you one for free. Trick number 1 is playing the Atari on this side, then only having 3 liberties here. That would be trick number 1. Because these stones just died and you just lost the game as black. That would be trick number 1. Trick number 2. You Atari from this side. That cut is still a thing, and now so is this one. And there's no way to solidly defend both. That's a problem. So if we're not playing here, and we're not playing here, where on earth are we going to play? Just jump, then your opponent gets to extend and connect for free. Alright. You give up? I don't think anyone said it. Oh, wait, someone has said it. N16 first, Lighthawk. Holy crap. How did you see it? No offense. Yeah, we play here first. It threatens to kill. N16 first is a threat to kill. Oh, you said it first? Oh, congratulations. Congratulations. This is great. It threatens to kill. Only response possible is this one, because this one leaves double Atari. We get this one for free. Side. Then we can play here, because we're squeezing all the liberties as soon as we can, because we know that we're getting into a fight here, right? So we have to make sure that all the liberties are accounted for in this battle. Case in point, remember, we're not playing here, and we're not playing here, which means we are playing here. Interesting choice. Interesting choice indeed. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We need 6 libertades. White plays the cut. And now the question. Can we get 6 liberties here? Answer, yes, we can. We can play here. And we can play here. Now remember, this group over here still needs to get an eye or not be surrounded in Sente because it'll die. Remember, not 100% alive yet. Atari. And connect. And Atari. And connect. Looks like it's getting that eye. Looks like it's getting that eye. And connect. And threatening to go in. This move is cute because if we just go straight down, there are still pushing and cutting considerations we have to look out and constantly reread. Having a move over in... where do you play here? Helps us immediately have an eye. No, it played here, sorry. Helps us immediately have an eye over here. So we don't have to worry about that. Like, this thing can't go straight down. It really can't go over. It can't go this one into this one. It's just going to get wrecked. Good shape move for this corner. Weird, but good shape move. Grabbing an eye. Not Sente. The minute he played here, it's alive. So connecting here, because this stone doesn't matter. This stone does not have any connection to these stones. No important connection to this stone, or an effect on these stones, or these, or these, or these. So connecting this is just a co-threat. If we play here, we know our opponent has to go ahead and make the eye. And we know that we don't care if our opponent takes this. So we're not going to connect that up. Instead we come out. Make sure we are absolutely fine. Because remember, if this stone comes back to life, it means that group needs to live instantly. So, sure enough, we see... You want to play what? K11? Oh, to net these little guys? Understandable. Instead, White's more concerned about this now coming back. Because these stones over here aren't safe either, right? Black can play here whenever he feels like, yeah? And start another running battle. Not to mention, we've got like things like this one into things like this one. Do we even have any eyes here? It's really dangerous, right? So Black played a nice defensive move attacking this side, but White's like, no. These stones are not coming back to life to try to kill me. Thanks, but no thanks. That does mean we get the move I mentioned. Plays the Atari. Plays the Atari. Takes. And connects. Now the group is completely surrounded, and thus it needs an eye. But remember, it is vitally important that they always try to do the most aggressive move playable so they can get the most amount of points. Like, they're all aware of the games that have come down to like, oh, you know, you were down by a point, or a game was down by like 0.5, right? You do not want that traced back to playing a soft move, because that's just, It's like I lost by 0.5, and I just played a passive move here to be okay, and not something more aggressive to get an extra point or two out of it. This is a great example of this. White needs to live here. First move played is the clamp. Can I kill your stone? Can I live that way? Black says no. Okay. That means White gets to connect. If this game was to end with like Black being 5 points up, you could trace that exchange to here and having not played it. If we just like try to play like here or here instead, that would be huge sad. And Black and White lives from this too, because if Black plays the Hane here now, we Atari, and if he takes this one out, we've connected with the take. So that is huge. That is a huge life. The difference between just playing like a first line stone here or here to make your eye versus the clamp into the connection, I cannot emphasize enough how huge that is for living right now. Yeah, that is huge. That is poggers. But Black's not all that unhappy, because he gets Sente. You know what else he's got? He got some strong stuff in here. essentially a solid wall here because that's an Atari on the 3 stones. White is never going to push and cut, and the cut meets an Atari. So this is pretty solid for black. Cut by virtue of that Atari there. This is pretty solid for black. That's pretty solid for black. And he has Sente. So swallowing the 4 stones without playing a simple netting move. Because again, similar to this, he's going for more. Respond. Otherwise, you've got like pushes and stuff at Sente. So you got that one for free, but nothing else here is free. Now, what we've seen so far is not why this game is a candidate for the bloodiest game of 2020. The reason why this is the bloodiest game of one of the bloodiest games of 2020 is because of what you are about to see next. I promise you, none of you have any idea what's coming up. You can sit here and try and imagine it, and you're all going to be wrong. But because it does happen, we are definitely going to look at it. White knows black's win condition is the middle of the board. It's not hard to see it. He's building up. So he's going to attach for more influence. This all makes sense. Honey. Very straightforward, very textbookian. Going with the diagonal. It should be noted that diagonal has a nice added value of creating cut points. It does have a nice added value of creating cutting points. Such as here. Alright, so black connects. Like so. And white. Oh. White decides to flex. He's going to save all of his territory. But that creates cutting points. We kind of expected it. We kind of expected it. Taking away big move. If this move is white, that's huge. That's huge. So even though you know that extreme violence is about to break out, I do want to highlight how both sides are kind of playing nice, simple moves right now still. They're having their eye on the next large one on the board, despite what they might want to do, which is coming up now. Like, you can't get ahead of yourself. Trying to protect the cutting point. Interesting indeed. Atari down. Looks like cutting point protected. Taking the 2 stones. Like, you're all familiar with this. You're all familiar with this shape. Like, you've seen this in your games. I know you have. Poke. Okay. Looks like the influence is a scam for black. And now, because white has Sente, white's going to remove the rest of it. Atari, white says, I don't even care. The middle's mine, bro. Defense. Okay, connection. Getting out of here immediately. Because again, this can connect because of that. But Exchange is made. This game just went off the rails entirely. White is now trying to bring this group back to life, trying to keep an attack going on this group, because he just got some extra influence to make it viable. Okay. What's up next? What's up next? White throws in. I think this is a time Suji. I think he's still reading out, because at this point, they're in Byoyomi. They're always in Byoyomi by the time they get to this point in the game. And that looks very much like a time Suji. So alright, he's a Byoyomi period to go ahead and get more time. Goes for a net. Black turns to try to be safe. And then white defends himself in the middle to eat out more of black's points. And what happens next? Oh my god. What's time, Suji? Essentially, they're in Byoyomi, so they have like probably about a minute to play a move because their main time is gone. So in order to reset the clock, get a fresh minute, they have to play a move that doesn't otherwise do much. Here, play a forcing move to get your opponent to respond. So you have an extra minute to see how you wanted to defend this, if you wanted to go up immediately, if you want to come out, you do a 1-point jump, that kind of thing. So, all right. You all, I know, you don't see blood yet, do you? You don't see blood yet. But oh, you're about to. And it starts with a move that was not even close to being on my radar. It's like, what? You're pushing? But sir, you're dead. Why are you pushing? Because at the end of the day, cut points matter, don't they? At the end of the day, cut points matter. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. It looks like Shibi just managed to cut off the middle stones in Sente. Now, it does mean these are dead. I also want to point out something else for you here. To understand how insane this is and how differently pros think from, like, maybe you or me, before this exchange, black was ahead, even with this crap. This is worth a lot of territory. This is worth a lot of territory. That's not bad either. Black's ahead. He's choosing to get into a complicated fight, giving up a huge chunk of his stones. Giving up a huge chunk of his stones because he wants the chance to attack the center of the board. He wants that middle back. So alright, Atari, take. And now we poke out the shape point. This one here is threatening. Huge one, right? And it has an emergency out. Like, we can capture the cutting stones, or we can go for more. I like the placement of that thing. You can admire the placement of this thing. It's got a backup strat if the whole thing doesn't die. White says, screw you and your backup strats. Black says, no, screw you and trying to live. Cut. And now we're getting into it. Do we just go for the shape or do we go for everything? White says, this is mine. White says, this is mine. Black says, that's not an I. White says, I take anyway. And now we have to play here because this could be big for white because of the outside and the eye here. So that was Sente to take for white. Gotta play it. White goes to counter punch. If our opponent's captured, then we're fine. Gotta connect. Same. Simple, maximizing liberties, connecting up. Nice move. Oh, sorry. He came back here. My bad. Yeah, that's the shape. Yeah, because we get this one in. Yeah, that was weird. That would be a bad move, because you'd be able to play here. That would be a bad move, because you'd play here, and then you haven't gotten any shape yet. Yeah. So we play here. Cool. Then frack. Then we draw back like so. So yeah. Here, and then try and make a move there. Cut the cutting point. Easy. Going for all the Aji, trying to cut everything he can. Trying to get more shapes. Clamp ruins that eye. This is the one that's a little bit hard to see if you're not careful. This one's complicated as hell. There is a cut here, but there is an Atari for it into a connection into a take, which would be bad. Now you might be able to say that's only one eye. True, but defending this is also Sente because white needs an eye here. So all of these begin coming back to interact with each other. So that's not Sente. And white can get poked out again. Poke. Draw back. Into resignation. He is dead in the center of the board. There's nowhere to play for two eyes. Nowhere to play for two eyes. And sadly, that cut here was just not Sente. That cut there was just not Sente. Good try, though. Good try. So yeah, the entire middle of the board just dropped dead by a beautiful sacrifice in the center of the board. Sorry, patrons. You should have been able to see this game back in August, but I forgot to upload it. No, actually, I did upload it. I forgot to put it on Patreon. It's literally unlisted on my YouTube. But imagine that. Like, this isn't, like, some scrub game either. This was from the, I don't know. This is the Japanese Egon Cup Round 2, whatever that is. But yeah, Round 2 of some tournament, right? And he's like, you know what I'm going to do? I know I'm ahead. But I'm going to give up those stones to try to friggin' kill you. Crazy.